Don't seem to have much luck with me, do you? You know, I found out that 579 admitted child abusers who actually admitted it were not reported to the police out of the 1,006 that were not reported by the Australian lot. I mean, how can you not be concerned about being an organisation that has actively hidden child abuse and still pay out $4,000 a day to not hand over documents in the USA, hand over a database of 24,000 pedophiles. You guys are paid out so far $2 million to protect the identities of child abusers, child molesters in America. I mean, how can you be a part of an organisation that is more interested in protecting itself and kids, not just in the congregations, but in the community itself, since no one else knows either? I mean, why is it that people aren't allowed to question the governing body about it? I mean, governing body member actually called the posse-driven lies and dishonesty. I mean, causing abuse victims, calling them that because of them reporting the child abuse. I mean, that's just sick. There's something wrong. I mean, in Australia, 579 admitted pedophiles. That's over half of the 1,006 that are at least on record. And they weren't reported. They're kept hidden from the congregation, from people in the community. I mean, and yet, the governing body in their videos actually say that they protect kids. Kids are the most important thing. I mean, how? I mean, I've got so much information I've picked up. You know how during the Royal Commission, an elder in one of the two abuse victims' judicial committees actually said that he'd tell people in the community if they were his close friends about a pedophile. Have admitted to destroying transcripts, claiming that so his wife can get a hold of them and read them. I mean, how can you just be quiet about something like that? I used to respect the people in the organisation, but when you're told not to look at other sources, and especially not to look at things to do with child abuse because it's done by apostates and not done by people who've been hurt so badly that they've left, in many cases shunned, in many cases have seen their abuser, who a lot of the times has been a ministerial servant or an elder, gets supported by other members, they're allowed to come back in after a period of time and treated like they've done nothing wrong, with most of the congregation not knowing that their kids are in danger. I mean, how can you just be quiet and justify that or even protect it? It's supposed to actually follow the law, and yet it's only reported if it's compulsory. It's supposed to follow the law, but paying a $4,000 fine, then complaining about it, even though that's what was originally wanted, to not hand over what was admitted to have a database of almost 24,000 names of pedophiles. I mean, come on. You know, the governing body's supposed to be spirit anointed, and yet everything they do is against a loving God. Yeah? There's property. I mean, they're begging for money. Still, they constantly ask for money. Property's being sold off. Property that is built for free is being sold off. They are cutting down so many things on the website. All it's about saving money. Constant flow of court cases. Constant flow of court cases. I mean, the one where they found out about the database, $13.5 million to be paid out to a guy who had a convicted pedophile, who actually fled to Mexico, convicted pedophile in the congregation. No one was told about it. Who molested him, who abused him. I mean, how? How can you just, be quiet about that? I mean, how can you respect a group of 7 men who will pay $2 million to protect the names of pedophiles, who keep them hidden? How can you do that? And I'm constantly hoping to, to run into the guys here, Mark or Marty, whenever I come across one of these. Because it's thanks to Mark that I found out about all this stuff, and Marty's attitude, which gave me the desire to start questioning Jehovah's Witnesses about everything to do with the Royal Commission.
Interested in studying, at one point?
I was, yeah. But then I'm a feminist and an LGBTQI rights supporter. And everything I've heard also, a lot of things I've heard about how women are treated and things I've seen myself, not really good. So, and I stopped studying after that one time. That's when Marty turned up.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, I didn't know the extent of the child abuse, of the stuff that was happening behind the scenes. That's the thing. And what disgusted me was how it's protected. How the child abuse is covered up. How people in the congregation are not told about child abusers. How people in the community are not told about child abusers. How convicted child abusers are allowed back in the congregation and no one knows. How child abusers are just fellowships at times, but no one's told why they are. Community's not warned. Police aren't told. The police are told about other crimes. So why aren't they told about child abuse? I mean, at least they've a new letter that came out. Pretty nifty, because there's actually elders that are helping out helping bring the truth out. The new letter that came out last year, the year before, recent one about the kids don't have to be there, victims don't have to be there, but still, the fact is that they're not reported unless it's mandatory, unless it's compulsory reporting. That puts the kids at risk in the community, that puts the kids at risk in congregations. The things, you get elders who are defending, judicial committees have to actually questioning kids, questioning victims, and the governing body. That disgusts me. Stephen Lett, video in 2015 about, and yes, Jehovah's Witnesses are a pedophile's paradise. Everything shows it is, that they said no one knows about them, they're hidden, covered up, and he calls them apostate-driven lies and dishonesties. Well, what else would you call a pedophile's paradise, where it's hidden, where people in the congregation don't know about it, where the authorities aren't told about it, where the community doesn't know about it, even when they're convicted, even when they admit that they've sexually abused kids. And more than once. There have been people that have been disfellowshipped and brought back in several times for child abuse. One of the two people that they did they were in the Royal Commission, they actually knew about his history. They actually told the victim, the Judicial Committee, she had to confront her abuser, and even then she was told that she should respect him because he was for his family's sake. Mind you, he'd sexually abused her. No one else in the congregation knew about it. They cover it up. And it's the pain that's caused by the governing body, by elders. It's heartbreaking. People are...
Stand over here if you want, John, so that the sun's not in your eyes.
Nah, it's all good. I see this new thing because usually you just walk off. Last time it was a minute and a half almost. So it's quite a short one. So this must be a new thing now that you do. So how do you feel about the organisation, the governing body, paying $4,000 a day to protect the identities of 24,000 pedophiles on a database that they have? I mean, how can you justify that? And it's a court order and they're supposed to follow the laws of the land. It doesn't contradict God's law. So,
Was that a question?
Yep. Yeah, basically, yeah, I mean, how can you trust a group of men like that who are willing to hide pedophiles?
I guess, like, I don't know, sometimes we look to Jesus' example, like when he was just before the men that were next to him, one of them.
These guys, no, sorry, don't use the...
Oh, what were you thinking? No,
I was thinking about when he was crucified. Yes, and one big, basically admitted is wrong, and the other one. No, the governing body are hiding, paying $4,000 a day to hide the abuse, the names of pedophiles, on a court order. They're supposed to follow the laws of the land. So why have they paid out $2 million so far to not hand over this database? Why are they defying the Supreme Court? Aren't they legally scripturally supposed to follow the laws of the land?
And the Bible does talk about like following the laws of the land, but when the laws contradict what the Bible say, then the Bible says we must obey God's rule about the land.
Yes, so how is hiding the names of 24,000 pedophiles in a database obeying God's law?
Well, what are your thoughts on that?
You know my thoughts on that. No, how do you feel about $2 million being paid out to hide the names of pedophiles? And it's growing, $4,000 a day. So, yeah.
Because you're a Baptist Jehovah's Witness.
I was, yeah.
Yep.
I lasted about 6 months or so.
Yeah. So from what you've learned, what do you think the reasoning behind that is?
Well, I think that they cover up child abuse because they're more interested in their image. That's plain and simple, but I see you avoiding mine. Answering a question with a question. Yep, that's a pretty nifty tactic. But the fact is, how are you okay with hiding that? It doesn't disobey God's law.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to try and avoid the question. I just when I tried to answer your other question, about Jesus. Yeah.
Boy, the attitude's changed from the other days. So, fact is, the governing body is breaking the law, which is not contradicting God's law, obviously. They've asked to hand over a database. And they actually asked for the fine, actually. But then they complained about it, but it was overturned. So $2 million to hide the names. You know, what? How can you be fine with them wanting to protect the names, the identities of known pedophiles in the organisation? I mean, that's why Barbara Anderson, back in '89, I think, came across letters. No, and that's why she left after a few years later. She was one of the researchers for the famous book. A lot of documents she came across. She worked at Brooklyn Bethel, so there's just so much stuff, you know, that's covered up, that's hidden. Witnesses are told not to go to apostate sites. But the fact is, a lot of these people, you have to use the word apostate to scare people. A lot of these people aren't, you know, they're not apostate. They've been shit on by the organisation. They've seen their abusers welcome back. They've seen nothing done. They've, you know, and the fact is, in Australia alone, known of 579 admitted pedophiles weren't reported to the authorities. No doubt lived back in congregations. No one in congregations knew. Isn't child safety the most important thing? I mean, isn't a child being abused more important than, you know, someone claiming to be repentant? When everyone knows that pedophiles are predators, they lie. And even when it happens a few times, they're allowed back in. But still, I mean, still haven't answered the question on how do you feel about the organisation forking out $2 million and rising to hide the names of these abusers? You know? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about 24,000 names of pedophiles being kept from a court ordered? Now, that was court ordered. All the cases that have been settled out of court, but with gag orders, and millions, if not tens of millions, spent to pay off people who, you know, took them to court for their complicity in the abuse that happened to them. You know? Are you fine with money going towards, you know, covering up a child abuse? No? Are you? Yes, no? Pretty simple answer.
Oh, is that a question?
No, it's not.
Sorry, no, yeah, okay, so, my answer would be, who is the Jesus God?
No, I'm asking your opinion. Don't try and do the, you know, try and BS with perverted scriptures, twisted scriptures. Your personal opinion. Your personal, not asking for, you know, scripture or anything like that, because the witnesses, and I've seen with my own study, they've got a lovely way of twisting things, and they obviously pervert things. So, how do you feel about it? $2 million, less than 2 years, to hide the names of 24,000 pedophiles in a database.
That was my opinion.
A simple, what, you're going to try and avoid it. Your personal opinion. That's not your opinion, that's what you've obviously been told to say to when you're confronted with this kind of thing. Personal opinion. $2 million to hide 24,000 names and rising. $4,000 a day, a court-ordered document. This is a court document. So how's giving the names out against scriptural principles? How is it obeying, how is it the word of God to hide the name of 24,000 pedophiles in a database? It isn't, is it? How can it be? Where does it say in the Bible that protecting the names of child abusers is God's law? Is the where does it say it's okay? I mean, Jesus certainly would not have wanted to. He certainly, not the Jesus I know anyway, would have condoned it. So, personal opinion. Don't bring out what you've been told to say when you're confronted, because it's a big thing now where witnesses are. I used to be a Jehovah's Witness. I know people are coached on what to say. The governing bodies even said that it's being used now by apostates, the child abuse allegations. So it's guaranteed. So, yeah, please, don't try that. I ask for personal opinion and you come out with scripture. Okay? Personal opinion. Are you fine with paying out $2 million to the organisation to hide the names of pedophiles, even though they've been ordered by the Supreme Court in America to hand it over? Personal opinion, not scriptures, nothing. Personal. It's simple. Yes, I'm fine with it. No, I'm not. It's that simple. Now, how do you feel about the 579 admitted pedophiles not being reported out of 2006 and statistics that are on record at least? How do you feel about that? And some of them have done it several times, but they're allowed back in after being kicked out. And no one in the congregation knows why they've been kicked out. Now, how do you feel about a elder who said that he would only tell close friends in the community if he knew of a pedophile? So I notice that you don't answer a personal opinion question. You come out with rote scripture. He said, I used to be a witness. I know how it works. So, as the saying goes, don't piss on me until it's raining. How do you feel about the cover-up, the proven cover-up? And even in England, it's the same. The Watchtower, obviously they're hiding it because they know of all the other lawsuits that'll come out. But when you're the richest religion in the world in assets, you pretty much afford them, I guess. Already paid out tens of millions in lawsuits with gag orders, so personal opinion. Are you fine with the hiding of the names of 24,000 pedophiles, even though it's been court ordered, and the paying out of $4,000 a day by the organisation to keep them hidden from the authorities? Personal opinion, no scriptures. Are you fine with it? Yes, no? Or are you just going to continue avoiding it? I keep on answering. That's a good thing about Asperger's. I keep on asking the same thing over and over again. I don't get bored like that. I get pretty focused. So yeah. They handed out over 5,000 names after a while, but the names were redacted. So yeah, they weren't able to do anything with even those two names. And then they refused to hand over the rest of the database with the names unredacted. The crimes in that. So, yeah. I keep bringing this up. $2 million over less than 2 years against a court order to hand over 24,000 names.
So did you say you wanted to talk again to Mark or to Marty? It sounds like a lot that you talk about.
I'll do the same with them. Marty's a scumbag. Bullying me that day, it caught me by surprise. You know, I've been wanting to see him. Then Mark, yeah, it's thanks to him that I discovered all this stuff, which is pretty awesome. So yeah.
So is that something that
Is-
you want? No.
I'd love to have fun with them, but you're still not answering my question. $4,000 a day, $2 million to hide the names of 24,000 pedophiles against a Supreme Court order in America. You know, I mean, this, you know, will be going online because I like videotaping this stuff. And all this is doing is showing how witnesses won't admit, won't face up to, or too scared to, give personal opinion on the fact that an organisation run by 7 very, very unchristian men, why they are fine with the hiding of the child abuse. The accused answers a simple question, a personal question, without bringing scripture that you've been told to say. How do you feel about the $2 million paid out in less than 2 years because of $4,000 a day fine for not handing over names of the pedophiles? I mean, how can you justify that? How can you justify the governing body as being godly men when they're more concerned about hiding child abuse, protecting the names of child abusers, protecting child abusers? I mean, how can you follow their lead, so to speak? How can you do that? I mean, your personal feelings, and I know you're going to keep them avoiding it. Your personal opinion. $2 million over less than 2 years after a $13.5 million lawsuit that was won by a victim of child abuse. Yeah, how can you? You're not going to give an opinion, are you? You're going to do the standard. Okay, this is what you're going to have to say when someone confronts you about this. Obviously. And that's fine, because I see this as God's work. So, $4,000 a day to hide the names of 24,000, to keep the names of 24,000 pedophiles from the authorities. Are you fine with the organisation paying out $2 million to protect pedophiles? Are you personally fine with that? Do you personally think the governing body are godly men if they want to protect these predators? Protect their names? No? Yep. Silence usually means yes. Because I won't let you use scripture. Of course, you've been texting too, so no doubt you've been being told what to do as well. I'm not silly. And yes, the world is out of control, but the thing is that the witnesses are a big part of that. People are coming out of the woodwork because of the child abuse, because of how they're treated, because of the 2-witness rule, which is so often used, because of pedophiles being allowed back into congregations to abuse kids, because pedophiles have not been reported, but these will be reported, murderers, whatever, but no, not people who prey on kids. There's a case in America where the victim's abuser was supported in court, and he had character references from people in the congregation. He was finally convicted, but the fact is that the whole congregation supported him, shunned her, supported him. There's obviously something wrong with the organisation. We've got elders helping apostates. definitely something wrong with the organisation there, isn't it? Notice a lot of people who have come out of the woodwork, who have seen what's happening, who are doing what they can to help expose the abuse of women as well as kids, the sheer hypocrisy and the fear tactics used. You know, you're a witness, your whole world is a total insular with other witnesses. You know, if you speak out, you're going to be shunned, you're going to be ignored, you're going to lose your whole support network. This is why they use apostasy a lot. There's a lot of really good sites out there. So, still, $2 million over less than 2 years because of $4,000 a day to defy a court order to hand over the names of 24,000 known pedophiles in the Watchtower Society. Personal opinion, because Silent Sunny says that you're fine with it, which certainly sounds more like a cult. Yeah, he probably contacted the guys, but that's fine, because I'll just continue asking the question. Hopefully they'll show their true colours while I'm taping. Pretty awesome this. Over 100 gigabytes of memory, so plenty of time on there. So I've been asking for about half an hour now. Your personal opinion. How do you feel about the Watchtower forking out $2 million to keep the names of 24,000 pedophiles on a database out of authorities' hands? How do you feel about it? Personal opinion. Well, you're not going to answer, are you? You're going to be quiet. But that's fine. I mean, I get to do a bit of educating here. People walk past. And I know there are good people in the organisation, decent people. But, to be so brainwashed into following 7 men, not God, you follow 7 men who are supposed to be spirit anointed, who've shown how ungodly they are, how it's just so, well, it is. Unfortunately, it is a cult, no matter which way you look at it. When you're told to only read publications, things from the organisation, to stay away from dissenting views, using fear, that's a good one, of Armageddon. And then there's the fear of shunning, losing your support network, yada yada yada. That's pretty bad. But the thing is why won't you answer the question? Why won't you answer a simple personal question about the money being paid out to hide the names of pedophiles? Defy court order. Why won't you answer it? What are you afraid of? I mean, it's a simple question. It's a very, very simple one. It's not asking anything big. It's just your personal view on the money being paid out, or personal view on court cases being paid out of court with gag orders. And that's the reason why, what's her name, Candace Conti, who, mind you, started out with a $28 million payout, but then thanks to Watchtower appealing it, even though it was shown that they knew that she was put with a pedophile in field service, and did nothing about it, managed to knock down to a bit under 2.8 million. They tried to pay her out, but she wanted to try and change things, change how they did things. So, then there's Jesus Garcia, I think his last name was, 2 years ago, $13.5 million payout. And that's when they found out about the database. And it was, they were told to hand it over. In fact, they've even destroyed documents. Admitted it when they were told not to. Hand over the database, and no, they tried to say it would take, it was so much stuff, it was mixed in with so much stuff, it would take years to go through it. Then the court got actually I think it was the guy's lawyers that got expert software specialists that said it would take like a couple of days. And that's when they flat out refused. That's when they're told to hand it over. That's when they said they want to pay the official word for it, but a fine basically, $4,000 a day, instead of handing over the database of the 24,000 names.
Right.
And nothing, And now they've paid out $2 million of followers' money. They're selling off Kingdom Halls. They cut down a lot of things on the site, videos and stuff. Obviously to save money. So, 24,000 names, $2 million to protect them. Not against God's law, is it? It's not against God's law. No doubt, wherever you've contacted will pop down, but I'll basically keep on asking the question. I'll ignore them and ask the question of you. Now that you can't use the scriptures and that, the reply that you're told to use, because I'm asking for your personal opinion. 24,000 names, 24,000 pedophiles. These people prey on kids, and not just one. Pedophiles prey on God knows how many kids. So how can you do it? How can you be quiet about an organisation that's willing to fork out so much money to protect pedophiles, which is what it's really doing? Because if it wasn't, they'd hand over the names. If they did protect pedophiles, they would report pedophiles, especially ones who've admitted it to the Judicial Committee. So, I mean, how can you not have a personal opinion on the rampant cover-up? Child abuse doesn't happen in Jehovah's Witnesses. They're treated with respect. Is that why so many people end up leaving? Because they have been mistreated? Because they've seen their abuser treated like a valued member of the congregation, but they're not allowed to tell anyone about it, out of respect for the guy's family. Women being told to respect their husbands, they should try harder when they're being physically abused. This is stuff by former witnesses, and these are people who've left because of what they've experienced. Not because they're apostates, but because, they've told of their child abuse and have seen nothing done, seen the guy protected. They've been abused physically by their husband, but told, well, maybe you should try harder, be more submissive as a wife. I've personally seen kids dragged to the back of a hall, toddlers, because they're fidgeting around because they're bored. Big whoop. Toddlers get bored. And now I wonder, in my congregations I was in, were there any child abusers? We don't know about it. No one's told. I mean, shouldn't people be told that someone's admitted to abusing kids? How is it keeping the congregation clean if, in the past, especially, there weren't two witnesses, which there isn't because they don't have two witnesses? Actually, that's interesting because one of the women who had their cases read in the Royal Commission actually said that it was confirmed the guy had actually molested her sister. So they had two different accounts, so two witnesses to this one thing of his act. Nothing was done. So, the girl whose father molested her, threatened to kill her, and nothing was said to him until he actually lunged for her. Now, how can you expect a victim of abuse to confront their abuser and be fine about it? How can you be a part of a group, society, the chair society, that puts the rights of the abuser over the victim, who's more interested in the congregation's image than the safety of kids in the congregation? I mean, how can you not have an opinion on that? How can you be quiet, be silent, which is definite cultic behaviour because you're not allowed to have your own opinion, on 24,000 pedophiles being protected to the extent of $4,000 a day, adding up to $2 million so far? I mean, how can you say this is God's organisation when pedophiles are allowed to remain in congregations, no one knowing? Pedophiles are in the community, elders knowing what they are, but they don't contact the authorities unless it's compulsory. Where I figure that a true Christian, a crime's committed. Oh, apparently though it's not a crime. That's something that came up actually in my research. Jehovah's Witnesses don't consider child abuse a crime, it's a sin. So that's why an excuse they use, one excuse is they use not to report it to the authorities, unless it's compulsory. So so you think that the Watchtower organisation really thinks that it's a sin when it's willing to spend so much money to protect the identities of predators of innocent kids, which I find is particularly revolting because I was an abuse victim myself, not with the witnesses. I think it was with a Catholic place actually, but it's particularly reprehensible. That money's being forked out. They sent out a call, not for people to help the victims. The Jehovah's Witnesses were actually the only group in the Royal Commission, I think there's like 50 different organisations, into responses of organisations to institutionalised abuse, that the Jehovah's Witnesses were the only ones that had done nothing to try and, what's the word I'm looking for? But try and make things better, basically. They're so insistent on the two-witness rule and the cover-up that they don't do anything. They tried to use the clergy confidentiality thing, which is quite funny because they're constantly bagging the Catholic Church, which are no better than, actually worse than, because at least the Catholic Church is paying money out and openly.
John, I Are you having this conversation just to record us? Because off the record we would be happy to speak.
I'm recording this because,
Okay, so
yeah,
like we're happy to listen to you because you've got a lot to say, but like yeah,
but why won't you answer a simple question?
you're recording us.
So, I mean, it's at least this way, nothing can be claimed as well, and you know, get a chance for people to see. And I'm actually recording the ground, you know, but you know, I can hear voices.
We're happy to talk with you, but like, what is your motive behind it?
Why won't you answer? Why is your motive about not answering the question? A simple question about personal opinion.
I'm from the bottom,
But
Yeah,
no,
I know.
personal, not what you've been told to say. Personal opinion. How do you feel about $2 million being forked out to protect the identities of 24,000 child abusers against a court order? I mean, it's a simple question. Why
if you
not?
want to talk next time without the record, we'll be happy.
No, I'll always be recording because, you know, it's important that people also hear responses or lack of responses.
We're happy to share the good news with you.
But that's just it. There's no good news in an organisation that protects pedophiles, that hides them, that pays out $2 million to protect the names of them.
Sorry you feel that way.
Well, if any decent person would feel that way. Watchtower is not a Christian organisation that follows men